After a few minutes, he took out his phone and seemed to be studying something on the screen, his mouth a tight line of anger. Alan was impressed with how clean and nice the MI-8T was on the inside. The CIA guys always did it right. He asked Seaforth, "Where are we headed, sir?" as the intel chief came back from conferring with the pilots. Bob Seaforth was 50-ish, thick hair graying, with the stern face of a demanding schoolmaster. He had been at Bagram several times before, although Alan was unsure of his exact title or area of responsibility. Did he work for the CIA or one of the many other intel agencies? He kept those details close. Seaforth surveyed the squad. Alan saw the young passenger put away his phone, and he gave Alan, after a moment, a polite nod. Seaforth said, "Gentlemen, several years ago, 2 young American humanitarian workers were kidnapped near Kandahar. Danny Capra, the son of longtime relief workers who'd served all over the world, and Zalmay Qureshi, an American whose parents emigrated from Afghanistan after King Zahir was deposed in 1973. Both were 23 years of age. Zalmay Qureshi was fluent in Dari, Pashto, and Arabic, and worked for charitable organizations as a translator. Capra and Qureshi were college friends. No ransom demands were made to the government or their families." Here, Alan saw Seaforth glance at the passenger, and our sources could not determine which tribal group had taken them. A few weeks later, a video was sent to the American embassy, showing the 2 prisoners and a few men in balaclavas. Only Capra spoke on the video. Qureshi was gagged and blindfolded. Alan glanced at the passenger. He sat listening, staring at the floor of the helicopter. The group who had taken them called themselves the Brothers of the Mountain, a group that we had not heard of before and haven't heard much about since. The speaker briefly demanded that all Allied forces leave Afghanistan. Danny Capra gave a short statement echoing that demand. Then his throat was cut. Seaforth's tone lowered, and he was pushed to the floor, out of camera range, and decapitated. The executioner momentarily raised Capra's head, but with its face turned away from the camera. Qureshi's throat was then cut, and he was shoved out of camera range. Their bodies were never recovered. The squad was quiet. Seaforth glanced back at the passenger, whose face betrayed no emotion. "This is Sam." Sam nodded again at the men. "He brought us new information last night as to the location where the 2 men were held. First break in the case ever." "How do you break a case like this?" Alan asked. He didn't expect an answer. At this, Sam, the silent man with the boyish face, looked up at Alan and met his gaze with a Boker Applegate Fairbairn combat knife. One of the younger soldiers made a kind of half-laugh, half-cough that he smothered in the sudden silence. They had seen civilians try to impress soldiers with their toughness and fail. Sam said his words in a tone that did not try to impress. He had answered the question. Alan, though, gave him a slight smile. Seaforth said, "The NSA picked up phone chatter in Pakistan, mentioning both the Brothers of the Mountain and this location. We're going to a long-abandoned village in the Hindu Kush. For a number of reasons of state and national security, this excursion is classified, and you will not talk about it." His gaze met each of theirs. "That's why we're flying on a helicopter marked as belonging to a humanitarian agency. That's why the records will still show you all were off duty today."